The Secrets of Star Wars is brought to you by the Star Quest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
Hi, this is Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars, and you're listening to the Secrets of Star Wars podcast. May the Force be with you.
You're listening to The Secrets of Star Wars.
Hello there.
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
It's against my programming to impersonate a deity.
That's not how the Force works.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force, and I fear nothing.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Hi, everybody. You're listening to The Secrets of Star Wars, episode 113, where we are going to be veering off from our normal recording of talking about Star Wars that's actually written and produced for the screen. And following up on last episode, we're going to actually play the characters that we've created in the Star Systems RPG system, which is based on Burning Wheel. And I am super stoked. I cannot tell you guys how excited I am. And I'm gonna do things out of order because I want to make sure that we thank our patrons, because our patrons make everything we do possible. And the fact that I can nerd out with these guys and play an RPG on a podcast, I have tremendous thanks for these particular patrons who are supporting this one this week. We got Nancy M, James B, Edward R, Derek M, and Steve H. And thank you guys for all that you do to support Star Quest and all the great shows that we have, and for letting us get away with stuff like this, because it's super fun and super awesome. So if you don't know what we're doing, we are playing a tabletop role-playing game this week. Last episode, Father Andrew and I sat down and we made his character, who was a Chiss pilot. He's evolved a little bit since then, which is really neat. So we've talked about some of the beliefs that these characters have and what they're doing. We're going to get to introducing all of that. I want to give a brief explanation for what an RPG is and how it works. But before I do that, I want to introduce everybody who's on the panel tonight. So we'll start off with Father Andrew. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm in over my depths, but this is going to be super exciting.
No, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Andrew Hermiz, thanks for joining.
Father, you're not alone in that sentiment, but I am very, very excited for this. Thank you.
All right. And Mike Creavey, thanks for joining as well.
Oh, guys, I've never been more ready in my life. I'm also a terrible liar. So no, I'm with you.
We're all on the same page.
I'm excited, though, to join the story.
I love it. You guys don't know, this is about me. I am an evangelist for tabletop role-playing games. I love tabletop role-playing games. I love playing them with people who've never played before. So the fact that none of you guys have really done it before is awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I think we've come up with some great characters, and I've got an interesting story that I would like to tell as we go through. So if you've never played a tabletop role-playing game before, basically what it is a storytelling game. And you'll see a lot of times dice are associated with the storytelling game. And the one that everybody knows is Dungeons and Dragons. And so there's all these weird dice that go along with Dungeons and Dragons. And what happens is you tell a story, and the way that you agree on what happens in the story is that you say what you're going to do, and then you have a set of stats that your character has from their past, from having written up, having looked through massive lists. And I know the guys can attest that it took a little while for us to get this done. But it's a lot worse when it's Dungeons and Dragons, or especially Pathfinder. There's a lot of list looking in those. So you look through these lists, you figure out the skills that your character has, you kind of make a story that goes along with it. And then you tell what your character wants to do based on those skills, and you roll some dice to determine it in random chance. And the reason for that is because we could just tell a story and go back and forth and tell a story. But if we get to the point where we disagree and butt heads about what happens, I want my character to be super awesome and do everything and win, right? Then there needs to be some moderator for that. And the moderator in our case is just the dice rolls. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the dice rolls and how we build the dice rolls and how that works out. And you'll see that as we go through that, it also tells some of the story too. So it gets the characters involved with each other. the role that I am playing is I am going to be the game master. So I've put together kind of the scenario. I know a lot of behind the scenes information that these guys don't know. And as we go through the game, they'll have it revealed to them and have to make decisions about how to deal with it. So I'm playing all the bad guys. I'm playing a few of the unnamed or minor character good guys, if you want to think about it that way. And they're playing the three main characters. So we'll get to introducing them in a minute once we get the game actually started. So I just want to ask, before we get started, really quickly, how'd you guys feel about the character creation process?
Daunting, but a lot of fun.
Okay.
For me, it was... I've always wanted to kind of like, I guess I wish I was a writer, but I'm totally not. So this is sort of like a way that I can sort of get into that realm of things, because the things that you have to think about is way more than just, oh, I want to be a cool Chiss player. This is like, no, I need to think about where he came from, what his beliefs are, you know, what his goals are. And then even like you and I were discussing just kind of like where I want the character to go. And so he's not just a reflection of me, but it's a reflection of a story that I want to tell. And that I find really interesting. The initial creation was kind of daunting, but not in a bad way. It's just there's a lot there, and so it really kind of gives me a greater appreciation for authors and storytellers in general, for sure.
Definitely.
Well, I dabble. Like, I think I have a decent talent for writing, but what I really enjoy about it is how it, you know, if you do it well, how you really enter into the skin of this person. How it's funny. It's, I think, what Tolkien called subcreation, right? But this idea that you sometimes you surprise yourself, you know, when you're setting up to do this. So that's even in something like this, where, you know, we weren't, you know, we're all working guys with lots of responsibilities and stuff. So like, it wasn't like I was able to spend a whole lot of like dedicated time to it, but the time I did, it was fun, kind of just getting to kind of know this character, even just a little bit. Like, I feel like I'm still getting to know him. And there were a few things that surprised me. I was like, oh yeah, that's what he's like. And including one just before we started that we'll get to later.
There you go. All right. Good deal.
Yeah, it was surprising, like, you know, starting from a blank slate, like, oh gosh, like what, like there's so many possibilities. Obviously, you know, you would think doing a Star Wars role-playing game, it kind of, you know, limits or gives you sort of a starting point, but like obviously Star Wars is so expansive and what kind of characters and different types of species and planets they can be from. So just you know, we'll get into our characters, but like just starting from like some random funny looking species and then just going into the lore was pretty fun. But like, you know, like Mike and Father mentioned, like it is a daunting task, like trying to get into the nitty gritty of like, oh, the skill, you know, getting into the skills and the traits and of your character, all the technical stuff needed for the gameplay. But as far as like, you know, the creative aspect of it and what the beliefs and of the character and all that was really a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you guys will see why the skill stuff is complicated, but it makes a lot of sense. So it helps drive the story along. And one of the things I really like about this particular RPG that we're playing is that failure doesn't mean you just flat out fail. Failure means you might succeed, but there's something wrong with the way you succeeded. There's a complication that's introduced. And so we'll get started with those, and we'll talk about the way it works a little bit as we go through. So just to explain to the listeners, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rolling pools of dice. So we're going to have just regular D6s. And what ends up happening is all of the characters have a stat, a skill or a stat that goes with whatever they're doing. And they have an exponent for that, or a rank for that particular skill or stat. And so if they have a rank of 3, for example, that means that they roll 3 dice. And when they roll the dice, if the dice comes up 4, 5, or 6, that's a success. If the dice comes up 1, 2, or 3, that's a traitor, which means that it doesn't count towards your successes. So if you get a set of rolls that has a 1, a 4, a 6, and a 3, you have 2 successes. And so you have met an objective of 2 in that case. So we'll talk a little bit about how to modify the roles as we go through, and that's going to be kind of our first step, is talking through one of these examples, and it'll give a great viewport into how the game works and how you guys are going to help each other out and work together to get stuff going. But I want to set the stage because I want to dive in, and we'll talk about a lot of this stuff as we go through. The only other thing that I want to really put out there before we get started is that I've given each of the characters a certain number of Artha points, which are kind of the points that allow them to go above and beyond the regular. And I want to explain to the guys how these work, because I gave them just before this, and we didn't talk a lot about it mechanically, but it's going to come into play. So there are 2 types of points that they've been given. They've been given 2 fate points and 2 persona points. And these are earned in-game by engaging with your beliefs or with your intuitions. So your beliefs, by advancing your beliefs or completing your beliefs, you get either a fate point or a persona point. So a fate point is you've engaged with the belief. A persona point is you've completed the belief, or you've done something very serious towards the advancing of your belief. That's how you gain them in game. Now, to spend them, what you do is this. On any die roll, you can spend 1 fate point to use luck. And what that does is any of the 6s that you roll become what's called open-ended, which means that if you roll and you get a 6, you get to re-roll that 6. And so if you roll another 6, you get to roll again. If you roll another 6, you get to roll again. But that will continue to add to your successes, possibly, in your rolls. So luck is it's fickle. So you might get a 6 and then roll a 2. And luck just wasn't on your side in that case, right? Or you might not get any 6s, but you have to declare it before your roll. So you have to say, I'm spending a fate point on this roll because I want to make sure that I have a better chance of succeeding. The other way you can spend a fate point is to shrug off damage. So if you take damage in the game because you guys get in a firefight and your character's wounded and he's got a penalty to the actions that he's taking, you can shrug off the damage with a fate point, which means that you're just kind of, gritting it and stepping up to the plate and really pushing yourself beyond what you're able to do. Now, the other type of points that you have is persona points. So you can do 2 things with your persona points as well. You can use them as a boon, which you can use up to 3 persona points on a single roll, and each one that you use gives you a bonus die. So if you would normally roll 4 dice, you can say, I'm going to use a persona point on this to get a boon, and I'm going to roll 5 dice instead. And so it gives you a straight up extra die to the roll. Or you can grit your teeth with a persona point, which means that you can, same thing, you got a penalty to you from the damage, you can temporarily just completely ignore it. So not only are you just going above and beyond and kind of getting an extra die on your rolls with that wound, but you are just ignoring the injury and you're just gritting your teeth and pushing through it. And so as those come up, we'll deal with them. I'm not sure if you're going to get damaged, but you could. There definitely could be a situation in which you fight and you have to bear through the pain. So we'll see if it comes to that. But I think the luck and the boon are going to be your more likely situations to use those, and you might need them. So if you think about it, like if I give you an objective test of saying you have to get 2 successes to pass this test, and you only have 2 dice in that skill, you're going to need to spend some points on it. You're going to need to spend a persona point or do something else to boost your roll on that point. So that's one part of the things that we're going to talk about. And then as we go through the game, I'm going to talk about how you advance your skills, which is by challenging them, by running a test against them. And that'll be explained. It's easier to explain inside of the game itself. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so you guys ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Opening fanfare, Star Wars style. The scrawl begins across the screen and it reads, "It is a time of strife as the Galactic Empire continues swallowing independent planets and outliers in its increasingly bureaucratic grasp. The evil Sith Lord Darth Vader travels the galaxy with his newly founded League of Inquisitors, eliminating the last of the Jedi who escaped Order 66. It seems that no world can stand the oncoming of the Imperial forces. But Bail Organa has sent out a diplomatic mission to one of the last holdouts of Federation space in an attempt to extract a necessary element of his budding idea of a rebellion." the camera pans down across the stars above Sullustan, the home planet of Sora Sub, volcanic ash covering the surface. And out of hyperspace, a small freighter drops. Sitting at the cockpit, a Chiss pilot reaches across to slow the ship, expecting that soon a Star Destroyer will appear to ask what their intention is. The Chiss pilot is named?
My name is Jet.
All right. Jet slows the ship to a crawl, and he thinks about the reason that he's here.
The reason that I'm here would be, first of all, I will take any job if the price is right. I'm a pilot, and that's what I do. But there are a couple other things that are also core to my beliefs. Namely, one of them, that my species, the Chiss, are exceptional in our ways, and people must be protected from outsiders. And also, honor is the primary way in which I act. So I have been asked to help with this, and I'm acting because it's a job, fundamentally.
Right. He looks across at his co-pilot, the navigator, and former Jedi aspirant, unbeknownst to his allies, a Bothan.
That's me. I'm Kig. Kig is my name, Kig Mukero. And I'm really on my own deep down. I mean, sometimes people think I'm on, sort of their side or that kind of thing. I've learned the hard way that I really need to just sort of look out for number one. And I got into this as navigator because nobody, and I mean nobody, knows the way better than me. When I say this is the way, that is the way. So, and I'm also deep down, if I'm honest, it's a little frightening to me, the idea of anybody ever finding out my Jedi past. So you're not going to find me walking around with some lightsaber swinging from my belt. Try to keep that on the down low.
All right. And Kig looks over his shoulder at the other figure in the freighter as Sullustan himself, who's fallen on hard times.
Yeah, the name's Stubba. Sue Stubba. You can call me Sue. Yeah, I've fallen on hard times, but I'm here because I'm part of the reason is I'm loyal to the rebellion, but on my own terms. And I think I'm valuable because I can outsmart or hustle my way through any situation. And the real reason I'm here back home, is that once upon a time, I retrieved Anakin's, now Darth Vader's, once thought to be destroyed starfighter on Coruscant. And I, for many different reasons, I had to leave it back here at home, but here at home in Sullus. But I want to retrieve it because it is rightfully mine.
All right. So this band of individuals, mostly out for themselves, was put together for their unique skills by Bail Organa for this particular mission. Bail Organa and House Organa organized this for two purposes. First off, there's a need to deliver some contraband through the Imperial blockade. So obviously there's some stuff on the ship that's not savory to the Empire and needs to get down to the surface. So your first mission is to get through the blockade to the surface without being recognized. All of the containers are marked as volatile gas, but as far as you know, there's not any volatile gas in them. There's just something that needs to be delivered to the rebellion on the surface. The second purpose is to retrieve something from the surface. And there is a contact on the surface that you have to meet with. And part of what we'll do is when you arrive on the surface, you'll have to figure out how to get in touch with that person. First off, to deliver the items, and then also to figure out what this thing is that you're delivering back off of the planet. It's all been kept very quiet and very secret for your protection, as well as for the protection of the people on the planet itself. So out of hyperspace near the freighter, the freighter is called the Iron J. And part of the preparation for this mission was that the transponder for the freighter has been encoded to give off a different signal so that it can't be recognized as attached to any one of you, and definitely not attached to Alderaan or the House Organa. So the Iron J is the current transponder signal that you are sending out to the cosmos. And as you are there, 2 Star Destroyers drop out of hyperspace nearby, having detected a signal approaching Sullustan that they were unaware of. One of the Star Destroyers is the standard gray, typical Star Destroyer that you're used to seeing in and around Imperial holdings. The other is a dark black streaked with red. And from that Star Destroyer, several ships drop out of the bottom, a shuttle and 2 escorts. And they, rather than traveling towards you, they travel towards the surface of the planet. But very soon after they appear, you're hailed by the lead Star Destroyer, and it asks the question, Iron J, we don't have you on our manifest. Could you please explain what you're doing here? And so this is the point where, as characters, you have to decide how you're going to respond and what you're going to do. So they don't know that you're here. They don't know why you're here. And you have to figure out how you're going to convince them that you need to be able to go to the surface without any hassle. And so here's how it's going to work. We're going to look at your skills, and anybody who has subterfuge, diplomacy, the ability to persuade or lie, that's the person that's going to take the lead in talking. But that doesn't mean that they're alone or that they're stuck with just that skill. So who has the highest persuasion or lying skill out of the lot of you?
I'm not really sure.
Does anybody have it? That's the first question.
No.
None of you are good liars. Excellent.
Nope. No.
Even better.
I have a gambling skill, but I don't know if that's smart right now.
And I can haggle, but this isn't a haggling situation.
You could swing haggling.
Okay.
You could probably swing haggling. So if that's our closest to any kind of subterfuge.
The problem is I'm not very good at it.
Excellent. Even better.
And because I don't know how all-encompassing Jedi, I don't think Jedi doctrine, because I'm thinking like this is pretty far for a mind trick.
Yes, it is.
Right, yeah.
This was I have done this campaign before. I did it with my kids earlier, and one of the questions was, "How does a mind trick work, Dad?" Right. I was like, "Not over a comlink. No,
not this way." Yeah.
So here's a potential thought. Like I've got the haggling skill. I also have etiquette skill, so I might be able to like talk through some of this.
Etiquette would actually be more appropriate. Okay. So we'll go with etiquette. So etiquette's our primary skill. Now, how many dice do you have? What's your rank in etiquette?
2.
2. Okay.
So yeah, not very high either.
The objective here is 4. So you have to succeed on a 4. So with 2, you're obviously not going to be able to do that. Now there's a couple of ways we can boost it. So the first way we can boost it is you can look at your sheet and see, is there any other field of knowledge that you have that you might be able to tie into this particular one. So you mentioned haggling. So maybe there's a way that you can make a deal related to this particular event that not only are you using the etiquette, but hey, I know it's weird, but maybe you could let us slide this one time. We really just need to make this trip. So you can add a die because you're bringing in that other knowledge that's related to this particular event, and that's called forking. And it's you're bringing in a field of related knowledge to whatever action you're taking. So that would give you an extra die. So now you're up to 3, but that's not going to get you to that objective of 4.
Right.
So the other thing you have to do is reach out to get help from.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
From the people that are with
partners.
You. And so if they have anything that's related or any other knowledge that they could add in, which this can be anything. This could be a life path. We have a Sullustan. So that is definitely something that could assist, right?
Absolutely. So
that could be an assistance that could be given. If there's any other skill that might be relevant here, like spacer wise, or any of the wises that you have, that your characters have, that might help.
What about disparate cultures wise? Would we be able to make some sort of like argument about a Sullustan, like, festival that we have to deliver or something? I don't know.
You know a little bit about the Sullustans, and the Sullustans are their mining culture. That's one of their primary things is that they export to a mining culture, and you guys are bringing this gas for a mining facility. So there you go. So that's one die from the Bothan, and perhaps another die from the Sullustan.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like a life path, I was born affluent, so maybe just dropping my last name, I have some reputation, there with as far as my family is concerned. So we could go that route.
Okay, so that's 2 more dice. So now you'll be rolling instead of just 2.
I'm rolling 6. No,
you'll be rolling 6.
But I need 4.
You need 4 successes.
Oh boy.
So, and this is where you have to debate. Are you going to do you want to spend some of that Artha that I've given you early to get through without incident? And then that way, you'll have an easier road ahead of you. Or do you want to save those for a really
How many did you give us?
You got 2 each of fate and persona.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to use it this early in the mission though.
And remind me, can we get those back, or can we earn those, or that's all we've got for the whole?
You can earn them back. The fate points are easier to earn than the persona points. You can earn the fate points just by challenging your beliefs over the course of the game. The persona points you can only earn at the end of the scenario. So at the end of the scenario, we'll do a couple of voting things and talk about who's clutch player and stuff like that. That's how you get those persona points.
Because if we fail this, I mean, we've got piloting skills. But we'd have to outrun potential danger here.
Right. And it would make the rest of the mission much harder. So everything gets much harder from here if you don't succeed at this one.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess can you basically share those fate points too? Like if I'm out, it's okay.
No, this is only for, only for your roll. Okay.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna use a fate point, so that would do the luck, right? So I would get
so any 6s you roll, you're gonna roll
6s again. I roll, I can roll again. Okay, so I've got my 6 die here. Nerve-wracking here. Okay, so I've got 1 6, I've got a 5, I've got a 5, and I've got a 4 and a 3 and a 1. So actually, I hit that right away.
So you actually hit it without the luck, but that's good. Oh, actually, go ahead and roll that 6 again and see if you get another success too.
No, I got a 2.
No. Okay. But you stored it up just in case. Now, there's 2 things that happen here. So that was what's called a challenging test. Or not, I'm sorry, not a challenging test. It was a difficult test.
It sure was.
On your etiquette, and you feel it, right?
Yeah.
So on your etiquette, what you're going to do is there are some little circles beside your etiquette. You're going to you're going to fill in one of the D circles because it was a difficult test. And you're also going to put 1 point underneath the for having used fate. There's F, P, and D underneath. So you put 1 point in the fate there.
Okay.
And that's over the course of a long campaign, you would train up and you would advance that skill. And then once you've used enough fate, persona, and deeds points on it, you would actually then advance it beyond just being a black skill, it would become a gray skill, which means that instead of just rolling 3 or 4, 5, and 6, you roll 3, 4, 5, and 6 is a success. So it's that much better.
Okay. Well done, crew.
Well done. Okay. So now the roll is good, but now try and build what you guys just said as a story together to how you respond to the Imperial officer.
Well, I like that idea of what Andrew said about, just dropping the name. Casual's just like, look, I've got orders from so-and-so himself, that we're supposed to bring this, like we're in a rush. Yeah. No,
it's like, hey, we're trying to head to the Staba mansion, and you know how they like to throw their parties, and sometimes not everything's done, according to protocol, like last minute changes, you know how they get, sort of thing. We're just trying to bring in some salted pork.
They're silent for a moment, and then the comm comes back on and says, Fine, Iron J. Please make sure that your papers are in order next time. I'd like to pass you through. You're going to be docking in Bay 6 at Pinyumb. So please proceed.
Thank you, kind sir.
All right. So first test passed. Nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah. You guys need to roll dice next time.
Don't worry, everybody will get a chance. Okay, so you head to the planet, and Pinyumb is the main capital of the planet. But on your way, you guys need to figure out who it is that you're going to be contacting when you get there. So this is an opportunity for you to use the circles test. We talked a little bit about circles outside of the game. And basically what that means is one of you knows somebody that is involved with the rebellion. And Andrew, I think your character already has sort of an in, but that particular character that you have a relationship with is not the one you're meeting. However, you can make a circles roll with a bonus to see who you are meeting and figure out how you're going to get in touch with them. So if you look at your circles score, you should have ranks in the circles.
It's a 1.
It's 1. Okay. And so then you're going to add a bonus to that for the knowledge that you have of Nenyub, who, if anybody recognizes from the movies, this was the co-pilot of Lando Calrissian in Return of the Jedi, longtime rebel fighter, primarily on Sullustan, but also in the wider rebellion as well.
Mm-hmm. And then that's just, so by bonus, you mean that a bonus die?
Yeah, you'll get one bonus die on the roll. So you're going to be rolling 2 for the circles. And then does anybody else have a background with arms dealers that might have run them into an arms dealer?
No.
Does that include me?
Nothing to.
It would include you. If you have a background that...
I have a gambling skill and I have a marksmanship skill.
Okay, those that seems reasonable for you to have.
So maybe a shady arms dealer as far as the gambling is concerned.
And since he's from the same planet as you, I'm going to go ahead and give you a bonus. So you're going to be rolling 3 dice for your circles test.
And I have a marksman skill as well, so I at least have a connection to.
True, but since you're from the spacefaring setting, you come more from the spacefaring side of things. I'm going to say that it's more likely that he's going to be benefiting from it than your character would. So he's going to roll 3 dice. The objective here is 2, so you have to get 2 successes or better.
2 successes. Okay.
And I will say for this one, for a circles roll, typically a failure on a circles roll means you get in touch with the guy, but he's not necessarily pleased that he's been roped in on whatever the mission is.
Use your smooth talking skills there, Sue.
I will try. I'm trying to this. I don't think this deserves a fate point, because I think there'd be a chance to their plan B here if we can't talk to this guy. So
yeah,
I think I'll just go ahead and roll 3.
Okay.
I'll do some digital dice.
There you go.
There we go. I got a 6, a 5, and a 2.
Awesome. So you succeeded.
Yeah.
Even with the low roll, you succeeded. Okay. Yeah. So as you're coming in, you bring up on the communicator a gentleman named Fadlan Swars. And Fadlan Swars is an arms dealer who's been working with the local resistance. You knew him from when you were on the planet. And even though you had touchy relations, this was one of the people that you knew you could rely on coming back to Sullustan. So he is a decently reliable character. And as you pull him up, he greets you and says, "Oh, hello. I was wondering if you might be my contact. When House Organa said that they had some items coming in, I was hoping that they might be sending along a familiar face. So where are you docking at? Base 6?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll meet you there and we'll talk a little more about what's happening at that point." And the docking is fairly uneventful. The city itself seems pretty placid. There's not much going on, but you do notice a broad Imperial presence. So as you're docking, there are lots of stormtroopers walking around the docks. Fortunately, you haven't aroused any suspicion, so it doesn't seem like anyone's coming over to inspect your ship. And in short order, Fadlan Swars arrives. And he's a jovial looking Sullustan. He's pretty happy to see you. He's got another Sullustan with him, and they've brought a skiff. and also a speeder bike that they've ridden in from outside of the town. And the first thing he asks as he comes up is, so the cargo's okay? No suspicions aroused from the blockade?
Thankfully not, no.
All right.
So far, so good.
Apparently, we've done well to bring you guys on board. This is nice. Normally, there's more complications than this, and I'm having to fend off an Imperial officer or two, and that gets costly. So, let's see what you have. And he walks over towards the cargo hold of the Iron Jay. And as you open up the cargo hold, the gas canisters are there, and he nods and says, clever. So even if they came on board, they wouldn't want to touch this stuff anyway. That's not a bad way to hide things. And he waves over to his assistant and asks him to start loading it up. And in doing so, he pulls you guys all over to the side, and he kind of conspiratorially whispers to you. He says, listen, we can't talk too much here because I'm not sure if there's anyone around listening. So when we get on the road and a little way out of town, I'll tell you what's going on. All right. So you spend a little while loading the canisters up onto this skiff. And then before you head out, he turns around and looks at all of you and he asks, do any of you happen to have citizenship with the Empire?
I do not.
No.
Nope.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting because they're asking for citizenship papers on return to the city. So we'll be able to get out fine, but getting back in might get a little complicated.
I have some thoughts. Maybe.
I have one. I hope it works.
It's probably okay anyway because we don't want them checking our cargo when we're on our way back in anyway. All right. So you drive out towards the outskirts of the city. And when you arrive, there's a checkpoint leading out. And at the checkpoint is quite a lot of Imperial presence. In fact, to the point that there is an ATST patrolling out just outside of the checkpoint. Several stormtroopers. One is setting up an E-web and making sure that he has it oriented towards the outside of the city. If you don't know what an E-web is, that's the big blaster that they carry and fire from a pack. So it has to have its own tripod to stand on. It's such a heavy blaster. So very heavy munitions. It seems like they are actually anticipating something. And as you approach, Fallon tells you that the resistance has been trying to keep itself underground, but anytime you raise any kind of alarm against the Empire and their practices, they tend to take it very harshly and want to put it down. So they're worried about anyone coming into the city from the outskirts that is part of the coalition against them. As he pulls up to the checkpoint, he talks with the Imperial officer, and you notice that some credits end up exchanging hands, and the Imperial officer just waves him on through, and you travel outside of the city. It's a few miles before you arrive at the final destination, which is a mining facility outside of the city. And there, Fallon parks the skiff and tells you to all come off, and then he waves to his assistant who was riding the speeder bike back in and says, we need to start unloading these boxes, but I need to introduce them to their cargo that's going back with them. And the other Sullustan shakes his head, nods his head, and then grabs a few other workers at the mining facility and calls them over to start unloading. Fallon, for his part, waves you guys down with him and goes into an underground bunker and opens the door and speaks into the door and says, Madam Senator, your transport has arrived. And from the door, Mon Mothma, the senator, steps out and introduces herself to you.
Hello, milady.
This is going to get complicated.
So she introduces herself to you and says, it's of the utmost importance that my presence here not be known. I've been working very closely with the Sullustan rebellion, but unfortunately, they are more intent on working in their own rebellion here on Sullust first and freeing themselves here before they can join a wider rebellion. I cannot have my cover blown at this point. No one in the Senate knows that I am working with House Organa on this rebellion, and I trust that he has sworn you all to deepest secrecy on this mission.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why not? Yes, indeed.
Yes, absolutely.
High stakes.
And maybe a little extra in it for you. If you,
that's
you can,
well, of course.
If you
kind of
what
I'm going for.
That's what I'm expecting.
I wouldn't say no. You know.
So she exchanges a few words with Fadlan, and then asks if there's a plan to get everyone back inside the city without her cover being blown. And that's where Fadlan turns to you guys and says, I have some ideas, but I'm open to suggestions.
I have two thoughts. And I guess my Bothan and Sullustan friend can pitch in. What about if we create a diversion? So you mentioned there's an ATST out there that's like guarding things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have skills with intercepting like transmissions and scopes. So kind of you potentially using that to try to basically knock out the ATSD sensors or something like that. And if we split up, we could have Mon Mothma go undercover somewhere and have the rest of us cause a diversion.
Would calculation help with this somehow? With his plan?
Possibly. Yeah.
Okay.
You could try and rope it in if you wanted to. Sure.
Okay. I don't really know what odd jobs wise means or how wide ranging that is too, but
Odd jobs wise means that there's a lot of
this is an odd job.
This is an odd job.
The other thing that I was thinking about was like I have a lot of navigational skills. As I know my Bothan helmsman likes to remind me that he does too. The thing there would be is we could potentially, and I have a cartography skill as well. If we have a map of the area, we might be able to pinpoint, a secret entrance back into the city that's not going through one of the Empire's checkpoints.
Okay.
Unused, yeah.
His only concern with that is the landscape of Sullust is not conducive to traveling anywhere except for the roads, which is why the Empire has been able to hold the cities so well, because there's lava fields everywhere. So it's really hard to go off-road in Sullust.
No, we wouldn't be flying.
No,
I guess not.
Okay.
You can't fly the ship. You can't land ships outside of the city. Otherwise, it raises too much suspicion. So his idea was a distraction. A distraction is a good idea. And if the timing is right and anyone's a good enough pilot, what we could do is stop at the checkpoint with the skiff that has Mon Mothma in it and keep her well hidden, and then pilot the speeder past quickly. If the person could evade long enough, they might potentially be able to travel the streets of downtown Sullust and keep themselves from being caught by the stormtroopers.
I don't suppose can a droid pilot a land speeder?
Probably not well enough.
with a cloak over him to disguise him? No, that might be a little too much. We didn't introduce my droid, by the way. Should I mention him real quick?
Didn't. Yes, you do have a droid, don't you?
Yeah, RB-46, otherwise known as RB. I don't know if he's with us or not, or if he's back on the ship. We didn't establish that.
I think he would probably stay with the ship.
He would probably with the ship,
just from the astromech droid standpoint.
It's a fun image, though.
Well, we have two pilots.
Yeah.
Can we? I mean, I know that Kig. I know that we get into disagreements all the time, but we could actually maybe like pool our resources here and really pull this off.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, because I have a decent pilot rank. I've got a pilot rank of 4.
So
kind of
way better.
I'm going to pause you right there. Try not to metagame. So that's called metagaming.
Oh,
when
sure.
You draw in your specific skill points. So say I'm a pretty good pilot, and that
gotcha.
that keeps it more in character and less about the mechanics of things.
Sure.
But out of character, saying yes, okay, I've got a rank 4. But then Andrew, your character also has a pretty good piloting rank, right?
My piloting rank is just 2.
Is just 2. But here's the difference. I'm going to say
a sense of direction trait. I don't know if that.
I was going to say the
And I'm
second
from
part
Sullust.
of it, and you're from Sullust,
Right,
you have the sense of direction, so it might be beneficial. And I'm going to say that Fadlan knows of you enough to know that you have done this kind of thing before. So this is up your character's alley to be flying through the city and to evade the stormtroopers in that way. So that might be that might work out into your advantage.
Sounds good to me.
Does this sound like a doable plan to everyone?
I think so.
Indeed.
There will still need to be some kind of disruption at the gate itself. So after everyone's confused and starts chasing off after the speeder bike, there still needs to be a distraction that gets you past the gate, because they're going to want to put you on lockdown. So that would be the other thing to consider.
I don't suppose I don't suppose me hanging back and acting like I'm completely deranged would draw another. No, I was joking. Odd jobs. I'm like, bouncing around for a while. I was at Coruscant State and I was a cheerleader, so I'm very acrobatic. No, that's nonsense. But no, I don't know. So if I'm not flying here, because I don't know, we have everybody accounted for, because I'm just trying to think of something that could be a legitimate distraction. At the checkpoint itself.
Mm-hmm. You could just gab at the person who's trying to take the papers. You could just start talking.
That's true.
Navigation stuff, and just then once the speeder bike goes flying past, he just wants to get you out of there.
Right? Yeah, because I'm annoying, and that's good. I like that. Yeah.
So that's another way to think of it too. Okay. All right. So, Fadlan asks, so do we feel like we have a plan?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there's limited space, and I'm going to be honest with you. I need my name not to be involved with this, because otherwise there's going to be complications. I'm going to stay here and let you take the contraband back to your ship.
Okay.
So if you're all comfortable with that, that's the way we're going to play it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So he entrusts to you his skiff and his speeder bike with the intent that you make sure that they actually maintain themselves in one piece.
Okay, so that means that Sue, you, and me and Contraband are on the skiff, right? And Kig, you get the speeder.
Yep.
No, Sue gets the speeder. No. Kig's going to be on the skiff.
Oh,
Sue's going to get the speeder. Because you want to get the contraband through by creating the distraction.
Sure. Right. So so are the three of us on the speeder?
Yeah, Mamathma. Yeah.
Okay.
Sue's on the speeder.
I'm on the speeder.
Yeah. Who's on first?
Yeah, exactly. Star Wars edition.
Yeah.
What's on the? Yeah.
No, Sue's on the speeder, and then Kig, Jet, and Mon Mothma are on the skiff.
We just get blasted by the ATST while we're figuring this out.
Okay. The Imperials are going to chase Sue, and we're going to slip through unnoticed. Okay.
Bingo.
Got it.
Exactly. So you'll pull up first. They'll start asking for the papers. Sue will fly by, distracting everyone. And then you'll just, in the confusion, you'll just slide on through.
Hopefully.
Okay. Hopefully. Yeah. If everything goes to plan.
I guess my distraction could include a Joker-esque. By the way, my character's missing his right ear. We don't know why. I know why.
Do you want to see?
But he's like, do you want to know how I got these scars? No, like
you're a tragic artist.
Right, yeah. Tell me about this, man. It's been a rough week. I just you know what I'm talking.
Yep.
So everything's going all right. Mon Mothma agrees the plan sounds solid if you all can pull it off. She's really hopeful that you can. But there's not much time. She needs to be getting off planet so that the recent arrivals don't end up finding her. So as you guys approach the skiff approaches the checkpoint, and it slows down as is expected, and you arrive and then begin speaking with the Imperial, and Kig, you start talking his ear off before before he can actually get to the point where he's asking for papers. And in that, Jet, you message back to Sue to say that it's time to begin the distraction. So yeah, punch it. There we go. Yes. Get the Star Wars quotes in there. Okay, so Kig, I would like you to roll. Let's see, what would be your relevant skill? What are you gonna talk about?
I could just have terrible humor too. I should have made that a skill, because when you said talk his ear off, I imagined my character being like, I don't want to talk your ear off. I'm missing one.
The thing there too is I could aid with this because I've got Wonders of the Galaxy wise, so I can talk about the wonders of the lava pits of Sullustan.
There you go.
So I can aid in your
yeah.
Would that be, and I don't know if that would connect somehow to any of those, like, charts, hyperlinks, calculation, anything where I could just somehow get rambling about, the wonders of space travel and where I've been and where, like, have you ever been here? Have you been there? Oh man, this place is, I don't know, just something inane.
I like it. I think that's excellent. You're just trying to talk his ear off. So just trying to keep the conversation going without giving him space to speak is what you're aiming for.
I don't know if the disparate cultures would play into that too. It's just this meandering, like, hey, the universe, the galaxy is an interesting place.
Okay, so which one do you want to be your primary? Pick your highest one.
Hyperlanes wise is 5, but I don't really know if that would fit into this.
Go with something like calculations.
Okay, so calculations and disparate cultures are both 4.
Okay, so then you would do 4, and then you're going to add 1 for your fork. And then you can add another one for
fathers
for Jet's Jet's interjections about the lava pits.
Jet. I should call you by your character's name, obviously. So.
It's all right. I was avoiding it for a minute too because I had forgotten him. So I was like, oh wait, I need to write these down real quick. So you begin speaking to him. Now the objective here is going to be 3. So this shouldn't be a terribly difficult roll with 5.
Okay. So I'm rolling 5. I thought it was okay. So I got to get 3. We've had 2 successes so far. We'll see how this goes. I got a 6 and a 5, a 1, 2, and a 3.
Okay. So
the Force user
go 3 in a row.
The Force user can't.
And where was the proprioception on that one? I didn't see this coming. Jeez.
All right. So you begin talking his ear off, and he gets suspicious. So he's not comfortable with this situation. He thinks it's very odd that you're not talking. And so he takes a step back and he says, I'm going to need to see your papers, please. If you could please hand them over to me. And he just completely interrupts you, and you try to start talking and he stops you, and you keep trying to start talking and he stops you. But fortunately, at right about that time, Sue arrives driving by like a madman on his speeder bike. So I'm going to need you to make a piloting roll first off. So Sue, you're going to make a piloting roll just to get through the barricade without causing a complication there as well.
Okay. So just a roll 1.
So what's your piloting skill?
Oh, my piloting skill is 2.
Okay, so you're going to roll 2.
I have a sky pilot life path. I don't know if that factors into anything.
No, the life path wouldn't factor in. Do you?
Okay.
Do you
have
know
a sense
anything?
of direction trait? I have.
I'll say they're distracted and not expecting this, so I'm going to give you a bonus for that. And really, your objective is only 1 here, so you're going to be rolling 3 dice against one.
And
one objective.
I mean, I don't know if I have to get through the barricade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could there be a blasting element to this, where I'm blasting my way through the barricade, or am I just crashing through it? Like,
no, you're just piloting through. Yeah, you're kind of dodging it as you go through. That's what just blasting through. You're going to get through one way or another. Yeah. It's whether or not something hits the speeder bike on the way through is what we're testing for right now.
Okay, so we'll stick with the 3.
Yeah. So let me talk about that really quickly too. So you can state, I'm kind of giving you guys an intent at the moment, but with Burning Wheel, as we go forward further, what you'll want to do is state your specific intent. So your intent here is, I want to get through the barricade without hitting anything and maintain my speed, right? So that would be your intent, and that's what you're rolling for. So now, if there's a complication introduced, it's you hit something or you have to slow down. So if you fail, those are the things that happen that drive the story forward, but introduce the complication.
Okay. All right. So I'll roll 3.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get through without hitting anything. Should I? I'm trying to think if I should use a fate point here. No, I'll just roll.
Okay.
All right. I got a 5, a 4, and a 1.
All right. Well, there you go. That's two. So you succeed, and you definitely do a flare. So you fly through, and you actually have a very nice flying through. Managed to clip nothing, and definitely create the distraction that you were all looking for. However, as you're flying through, the stormtroopers do not like that happening, so they turn the ATST's cannons on you and fire as you're passing through. Oof. So one bolt from the ATST's cannons, and you're moving really fast, so I'm not terribly worried about you, but I am rolling a couple of dice here. And I achieved 1 success. So that's not going to manage to hit you at the speed that you're moving with the speeder, but it gets very close.
Yeah, that's the motto of my life. Very close, but I'm still here.
Very close, but I'm still here. All right. So Sue zooms by, and the Imperials are all distracted. Every single one of them turns around to look at what's happening. The guard specifically that was looking at you guys, however, is not satisfied to just let you go. So he tries to wave you over to the side of the road so that you can stay. So you're going to have to gun it at this point, and it's going to draw a little bit of attention to yourselves, but there is a clear path for you to go forward. As soon as the speeder bikes that are at the outpost also chase off after Sue. So 3 speeder bikes chase off down the road after Sue, but he has a little bit of an advantage. So there's going to be a slight chase here. And then as you guys arrive back at the docking bay, you're going to have to figure out how to manage to avoid some of the Imperial scrutiny that's going to be on you as well as you get Mon Mothma in the ship and manage your way off the planet. So here we go. Sue, I know you have an ulterior motive here as well, so this might be the perfect time for your character to take up that ulterior motive.
Yeah, I think I might make a detour. Since I obviously know my way around here, I need something better to fly around in, and there happens to be a starfighter that I've stashed that I mentioned at the beginning that once belonged to Anakin, now Darth Vader. So I think I'll try to make that happen right now.
All right. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to do the chase for Sue, and the chase is going to be 4 rolls. They're going to be versus tests, which you're going to roll your piloting skill and then fork in any other knowledge that you would have. So having lived on Sullust will give you 1 point. If you have Streetwise as an ability, as a skill, you can fork that in. So that'll give you a 2nd. And you're going to try and beat the stormtroopers 2 times in a row or more. And if you can beat them 2 times in a row, that's going to allow you to escape their chase.
Okay.
As for the other team, you're going to have a similar situation, but yours is more of making sure that they know the vehicle that you're in. You're going to have to somehow get out of that vehicle and get to the docking bay without Mon Mothma being caught in the middle of it. So yours might end up being more of a foot chase. It depends on how you guys want to plan it. But I'm going to start with Sue's. We're going to do 1 roll for him, and then we'll come back to you guys and figure out what your next steps are. Okay, so traveling off down the road at top speeds, Sue and the stormtroopers are in hot pursuit. So I'm going to roll, and I'll give you your objective based on what their roll is, and you have to beat them 2 times in a row, and then they don't know where you are. So now, since you're out in the open, you'll only be able to benefit from your piloting skill and from anything else that you have that's relevant to going faster on your speeder bike. All right, and they have 3 successes, so you have to beat an objective 3 right now to stay out ahead of them.
Oof.
Now they also have to win twice to be able to catch up with you.
To catch me. Okay.
And so this would be you can let them win once, but that makes it a little bit harder for you to move in the future.
All right. So my piloting is 2, and I guess I get 1 more for being from Sullust.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 3 die roll. I'll use a fate point here to help me out.
Okay.
So
so you can use a fate to reroll 6s, or you can add an extra die with for each persona point that you build into it.
Oh, or add a die. I'll add a die.
Okay.
And then I'll add. I have 3.
So
I'll add 1 die.
So that'll put you up to 4.
Yeah, I'll add 1 die there and use a persona point.
Also, for anybody else who has rolled, remember to record your rolls. If you don't know what the difficulty was, if it's the number or 1 higher, that means it's a difficult roll. If it's 2 lower, then it's a routine roll. And if it's 3 or more
higher or lower, than what? I'm sorry.
Then what your exponent was. So if you had 4 dice and you had a challenge and you had an objective of 4, that's a challenge, or that's a difficult roll.
I'm forgetting what mine was. I rolled 5.
You can tick a roll. Yeah, you can just tick the rolls off right now, and I'll come back and give you what they were, because I've been recording them here.
Okay.
So I'll keep keep
you've been
track
recording
of
them? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just keep track of. Remind me that you had a roll, and I'll remind you what the objective was.
Okay.
All right. So I'm rolling 4 here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got a 6, 2 6s, a 1, and a 5. So that's a success.
All right, enough. So you've tied them, which means that nobody won this one. So you maintain your lead out in front of them, but they are but there's no gaining or loss on them yet. Okay, so you got 3 more rolls to be able to escape from them. Then we have to figure out an alternative for you. Okay. For you guys' part, how do you want to escape the notice of the Imperials?
I'm thinking that we're potentially good enough pilots, Kig, that we could just get lost in the streets of the city and lose them.
I go with that, and also I'm 4'9", so I don't think running's a really good idea.
And Mon Mothma agrees, and running is not the best of ideas.
Yeah. So I think we can lose him in the city.
And especially when I'm trying to do everything all the time to not use the Force.
Okay, so for you guys, it's going to be about driving and driving inconspicuously. So if anybody has the inconspicuous skill, they could fork that in. If not, that's okay. So
I have pilot, navigation, driving, cartography.
Okay,
even though I'm not going to be using a map as I'm driving.
I was going to say, I don't know how GPS works in Star Wars. We never really see that, right?
Oh yeah, I have navigation also. I forgot to have that down here.
I'll allow you to help with navigation, not to fork it in, but to help with it. As the person in the shotgun seat, you get to say, no, I think we should go over here. This is the way.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so your objective here is 2.
Okay.
Are we both rolling?
No, so how's this? Whoever's piloting, whoever's got the pilot skill.
Yep, gotcha.
Would roll.
Okay, so and I'm forgetting how to calculate how many die. So if I use my pilot skill plus navigation and driving.
But so you're gonna use just your pilot skill.
Okay.
Because you're driving a skiff. The driving skill is for like ATST. For vehicles, like ground vehicles.
Pilot skill, and then navigation. Does that just add 1, or does that add what my actual rank is?
You can't fork in navigation, but you can get help from Kig using his navigation.
Okay,
skill.
So I just use my pilot skill plus Kig's navigation. So
plus 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get 1 extra die. So when you receive help, you only get 1 die from that person.
Right. Gotcha.
Helping you.
Okay, so that so I get 5 die to roll for that, and I need 2.
Okay. And you need 2.
And I have a 6 and a 5 and a 3, 3, 1.
Ooh, just did nick it. That's good.
Close enough.
So that would that be what rank of a roll would that be? Difficult or?
No, that was routine.
That one's routine. Okay, so I just marked that.
So to mark what it does, so your objective there was 2, and you were rolling 6 die. So for 6 dice, 2 is that's a pretty routine thing to achieve. And it does matter that you're adding in dice from elsewhere. So the dice pool that you actually end up rolling is what matters. When you add fate, it doesn't. When you add fate, it just counts. It counts the dice pool, and then any fate you add are like a bonus. So that's how you can get those objectives that are beyond what you're capable of and still actually be able to succeed at them.
Okay.
So that was that one. All right, back to Sue, who's now inside the streets of Pinyub and is trying to escape these stormtroopers using the chaos. So now you get a bonus. You had the lead. You have your hometown knowledge because you've got the streetwise going on there, and then your piloting skill. So you're gonna be rolling 4.
That's 4 right there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and they are going to roll. Let's see how they do. They only achieve 1 success this time.
Okay. So I'm just going for 1.
You're going for 1.
So just gotta match it or beat it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I got a 4, 4, 3, 1.
All right. So you pull away, and next time they're going to have a little bit more difficulty. You're going to have a little bit more success and probably make your way out. So that was a routine roll for your pilot skill right there. Sorry, for a linked test like this, you only mark it once. So since it's a versus test, you're going to mark it as a since they already gave you a pretty good run for your money on the first one, you're going to mark this as a difficult test for your piloting skill for the whole chase.
Okay.
So you don't mark each one of these. You just mark that the whole chase. Okay.
Okay.
So Kig and Jet, you guys get back to the docking bay without much problem. You're able to evade most of the stormtrooper heat that way, but you park the truck, or you park the skiff a little ways away from the docking bay, and now you have to figure out how to sneak your way into the docking bay. And there are stormtroopers wandering the streets at this point, and they need to not recognize Mon Mothma, who has a cloak, fortunately, and has pulled it up over her head, but is not too keen on walking out in the open across the street.
I am trying to see here. Would proprioception in any way help in this situation? I was just reading up on it. I don't see anything that really jumps out at me.
No, I don't think it would be really...
Okay.
I don't think it would really help here. Do you have another skill that could help you cause a distraction without getting you into trouble? That's the big issue.
Jobs wise, I don't know if I could, pose as some sort of worker in the docking bay who like dumps a giant, like knocks something over, makes a huge mess. I don't know, like just someone who's...
You could. It would allow
something
you
like that.
It would allow you to look convincing enough doing the job to be able to distract them without them then like coming over and arresting you for being obviously conspicuous, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that would work. Now I am going to say this is a little outside of your comfort zone too, though, because your character does not like being the center of attention.
Right.
So how would he feel about that?
Is this one of these chances where we can test a belief, or I don't know?
Well, you can look at it and you can see like what does this say against the beliefs of your character? Is he willing to put himself in danger for a cause greater than himself?
See, I had down I'm on my own, but then again, I'm on this mission. So in a way, it can serve me in the sense that like I won't be okay unless we get out of here. So I don't know that it necessarily is a huge commitment to the cause so much as this is my
you're going to be able to get off the
best shot to get off planet. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. I think it fits. I think it fits as something that he would do. Okay. So
now I wish that I had added drinking to the skills, because then I could have used the skill and pretended I was drunk and all that. So there is something. You guys all wondered
why drinking was a skill that you could take, but there you go. That's exactly what it would be.
And if singing is one too, like you could put them all together, and that makes sense. That's fun. Missed opportunity. That's okay.
So So I think the odd jobs wise works. Now you won't be able to fork or you won't be able to ask for help in this case because you're going to be on your own. But you present your case to Mon Mothma and Jet. And Jet, are you okay with him?
How comfortable are you with your ability to cause a distraction?
Well, I'm thinking of using a fate point along with it. I don't know if that'll
All right, no metagaming.
Oh, darn, there we go. Yeah, no, that's true.
The way you could say that without metagaming is this is important enough that I'm pretty sure I'll be able to pull it off.
It is. And is the goal that we just need to draw enough attention away that they can slip onto the ship? Is that basically?
That would be stating your intent, right? I just want to draw enough attention for them to slip on the ship.
How do I get on the ship? That's That's what I'm not sure about.
So your intention is twofold then. I want to draw enough attention to be able to get on for them to be able to slip on the ship, and also not get myself in trouble.
Right. So if your distraction is not like law breaking, the goal there would be to just get Mon Mothma aboard unnoticed. And
I'm
then
you can a bunch of stuff over.
You can pick up all the boxes that you knocked over and then meander your way back.
Whatever their version of like a forklift in the you know what I mean? Like because I know how to work it.
Yep.
Because I'm a space. Would that be would Spacer would Spacer Wise be in there at all with that too?
Spacer Wise or Spaceport Wise, either one would work. Yep.
They're both 4s for me, so I don't know if that really matters.
You could fork that in, yeah.
Okay.
So you can pick whichever one you want as your primary, and then fork in the other skill.
Okay, I think I do Odd Jobs Wise and then fork in Spacer Wise.
Okay.
So
you're trying to create a distraction without getting yourself in trouble. I'm going to say that's an objective of you want to distract enough stormtroopers that they can slip by successfully. So that's an objective of 3. Now there's this thing that you can do that's called being careful, doing it carefully, and you're going to add a little bit of time to it, but at the same time, any successes you get over the objective add to the success, so it makes it exponentially better. So not only are they simply distracted, but they're actually completely enwrapped with what you're doing, or they're so
it's like watching a train wreck. You just can't.
Well, and I mean, stormtroopers, from all the data we have, are pretty distractible. So
there you go.
Like Obi-Wan pretends to throw a rock. Like what was that? And they both turn for like 10 seconds. Nah, that's nothing. So
there you go.
I like my odds here.
Go for it, King.
All right.
So how many am I rolling now?
You're gonna roll 5 because you're forking one knowledge in. Okay, so you're gonna roll 5. And you've got an objective of 2 because they're easy to distract. But any successes you get beyond that make it easier for Mon Mothma and Jet to sneak on.
6, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so you manage it.
We did it.
Right. So good. It takes you a little while, but you do manage it. You begin cursing at the thing because it's not moving.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it falls over and nobody's paying attention, so you kick it a couple of times.
There it is. It could have just been like a Coke machine too, just shaking the thing like this stupid thing. Did you guys try to use this thing? It's no.
And so they walk over and you've distracted them enough for Mon Mothma and Jet to get by. And the two of you use the opportunity to sneak into the docking bay and onto the ship. And now we're waiting for Sue to finish his chase and for Kig to arrive on the ship himself. Kig's astromech droid walks up to you and begins whirring at you in binary, asking where Kig is.
He's coming, buddy. He's coming.
Very upset at who Mon Mothma is. Like, who is this?
Just patience, patience.
Arby's like, is he making another distraction?
All right, so Sue, let's do one more of the pursuit rolls. So again, you have the advantage. You have the streetwise going in with it. You've got your piloting skill. And you also have the benefit of having beaten them last round. So you get another bonus to yours this round.
Oh, so 5 die?
Yes, indeed.
5 dice.
Oh, and they have two successes this time. So you're trying to beat an objective of 2.
I like those chances.
It's good odds.
Yeah. So let's change this to 5. Here goes my roll. Got him by the skin of my teeth. Well, I matched it. I got 6, 5, 2, 2, 3.
All right. So you are there. So that's a tie, which means that you haven't escaped yet. So you've got one more round, and then we have to figure out an alternative to how we can get you off planet. Meanwhile, back at the ship, Jet and Kig, how would you like to get in touch with Sue to figure out how he's doing? Does Sue have a comm link? That's the question.
That's a good question.
Because I do, but I don't know if he does.
I mean, yeah, you and I both do. Or no, I have the ship. I don't have a personal communicator, but I've got the ship.
I mean, I have a utility belt. I don't know if there's a comm link.
No comm link on the utility belt.
Yeah. If you're asking if I have one of my possessions, I do not.
Okay. So you guys have no way to get in touch with Sue at the moment, but you are hearing chatter over the radio about a high-speed pursuit through downtown Punya.
I mean, my inclination is to act honorably. So my inclination is to not leave him behind.
Okay.
Because we don't know that he's going after this starfighter, correct?
Correct. Yeah, as far as you know, he's coming back to the ship.
Right. So my inclination is to we have to kind of wait it out unless we're being bombarded by stormtroopers in the docking bay.
Okay, nobody has come to the ship yet.
Okay, I mean, at least that's I don't know, Kig, what your thoughts are, but I know
it back on. And as you are approaching the ship, you notice that there are stormtroopers milling around the skiff where you guys had left it.
So another thought
here is, what's my pocket full of credits for?
Surely with our transmission skills, we have the ability to at least eavesdrop maybe on the chatter. And if we find that alarming, take off.
Well, that's that Bothan espionage and intrigue thing, maybe a little bit too. I don't know.
Well, I suspect that my instincts are contrary to yours. If yours is more about doing things on your own and surviving, we could just leave the planet
now.
True.
That's true. Yeah,
but
that's true.
Mine is more. I want to act honorably, and so I've agreed to this team.
Okay.
All right. So how?
So maybe I'm. Yeah, I'm a little bit more ready to leave.
This? Right.
Maybe. So I say I'm a little more inclined to like ditch him.
Right.
Okay. Maybe that's
So Kig makes the argument that that you
no
should
offense,
go and get off the planet.
it's just business. It's not personal.
and
man, if you only knew what I was planning.
Well, and that's the thing is we don't know.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yep.
Exactly. So, and I love that you guys aren't metagaming it. So that's
I have trust issues.
So there you go.
I don't know if he can be trusted.
So my Mothma would rather wait for a bit. It doesn't seem like you're in any immediate danger. So she would like to give it a little bit longer to see if he actually makes it back or if he can make communications with you. And she asks, "There's no way that you can communicate with him." And she's kind of surprised that. You guys don't have the team.
Bail Organa is not going to send us 3 on another mission after this. Like we're just we're barely getting by.
I don't know, man. You're making it. There's no major shots have been fired, but not because
this is like the Star Wars Suicide Squad.
Like, we didn't compile our resources and make sure everybody had the right gear before we went into this.
There you go. So next mission, you guys are going to make sure that everybody's got the right gear. See?
We don't even know. Nobody has rope, as we talked about before. Yeah.
Actually, Sue does.
The utility belt.
That's really utility belt.
That's true.
I have a utility belt.
In there. So I imagine there's nothing that we need to do to just pause and wait.
No, but you can't. You get the ship started up and you start working with the dock master to clear yourselves for leaving.
Yep.
And so you begin that process and just kind of put the end of it on hold until you can hear from Sue or he arrives at the dock.
Maybe Kig uses his sort of uses up his frustration or gets over his frustration with all of this by really hitting the charts. calculating the escape route. Jump. Yeah, let's get this right. As soon as he shows up, we're hitting the button.
We're out of here. Gonna punch it. All right. So Sue, last roll for piloting. Again, no 5 this time, only 4. So we're gonna see how.
What?
you lost your advantage with the tie last time.
Yeah.
They have another 2 successes on their roll.
Okay. I like those odds. Just need 2 with 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 4 dice.
You can roll a persona into it if you want to, or a fate.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that because this is a crucial thing.
Mm-hmm.
So fate, it would be reroll a 6, and persona, I just get an extra dice.
Right.
Okay. I've already used 1 persona, so I have 1 left. I haven't used any fate. I'll use a fate.
Okay.
I think I can maybe roll a 6 here. If I need it.
All right. Oh, that face doesn't look good.
It took longer than usual. I'm using digital dice. I was just like, okay. I got 6, 4, 4, 3.
Okay, 6, 4, 4, 3. So that's enough to succeed.
That's enough to succeed.
So there you go. So you managed to give the stormtroopers the slip and ditch the extra speeder bike in a relatively safe location that you know of. And then you have the plan now. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go back to the dock, or do you want to make your way over to your prized starship?
Remember, listen, you've got teammates waiting on you, buddy.
Yeah, listen. This is my home planet. I was able to fend these guys off with relative ease. So I feel like I can make this detour and get back. And I feel like if I can get to my starfighter, there's
a comm device on your starfighter, so you could.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If I can get to my starfighter, I can get back to them probably even faster. And if I run into any more trouble, I'll be more equipped. So I'm definitely going for my prize.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to have you do one more roll, and this is going to be a circles roll, because I want to know who owns this, or who's watching this starfighter. You own it, but it's here. Who's been paying attention to it? So I'm going to have you do a circles check just for us to figure out who it is that has been watching this in your stead, and we'll see if they are amenable to you taking it, or if there might be some issues there.
Okay. So you're asking for my circle. My circle is 1. Are you asking for my connection, my other connection?
Mm-hmm. Yep. You could use. You could rope in
either one.
Another piece of connection. So you're going to roll 2. The objective is going to be a 2. So we're going to see.
So I'll. My cousin is Nien Noomb. Mm-hmm. Is that how you pronounce it? Is it Noombi or Noom? Nanyub. Thank you. Gosh, I always get it wrong. Yeah, he's my cousin. He's been watching over it. Hopefully he hasn't been admiring it too much. Maybe he wants it for himself.
Right.
But yeah. So I got 2 to roll.
2 to roll for an objective 2 successes to see if he's happy
for 2 successes.
Yes. Woof. You might have to rope a persona into it.
Yeah, that's. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll use a persona point.
Okay.
Bump that up to 3. Let's hope for the best. I'll stick with the digital dice. 5, 4, 3.
All right.
Well done.
Nice.
Again, I like this game.
Yeah, you've been doing pretty well with these rolls. Okay, so you managed to find your way back to the hangar where the starfighter is being held, and Nanyub he's not there, but when you get in touch with him, he lets you know what the code to the hangar is. No problem. He was expecting you to drop by at some point and pick it up. He asks if there's anything that you need help with. He was surprised that you've come back, because last time you left, you were in a little bit of trouble.
Well, I don't mind telling him, because he is loyal to the rebellion. Okay. So I fill him in basically on everything. Be like, hey, I got these 2 guys that are that I'm kind of growing. They're kind of growing on me. I'm not sure if I like them yet, but there's a bigger cause that we're all in support of. So I let him know, and I'm sure he'll be very supportive in any way he can be.
Yeah, that's what he conveys to you. He's proud of you that you're maintaining the rebellion, even though you're not on the planet anymore. And he's ready for the resistance to the Empire to begin. So there you go. You have now your starfighter.
Yes.
And your ability to communicate.
So is this back to me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Well, I use the comm link on the starfighter.
There you go. Thank you. Otherwise, they're waiting for
you. Yeah, I use a comm link on my starfighter, and I hit up my teammates. They're like, yo, I'm coming back. I was totally coming back the whole time. You might see me in a different sort of ship, but I promise you it is to our advantage.
Sweet. So you guys plan on rendezvousing out of the atmosphere. The docking bay that you have your ship in, Sue, is a private one, so you don't have to worry about any docking permits or anything like that. You can just fly out. That's not a problem. You guys managed to convince the dockmaster that you're headed out, and there's nothing. You've made your delivery, so there's no problem. You're not on the manifest still, so he's warning you that the blockade might not be too happy about you leaving, but just be prepared when you get up there. And you all rendezvous in space above Sullustan, and you notice that here is Sue in this Eta class starfighter from that looks oddly like one that was flown by a famous general during the Clone Wars.
Very nice.
All right, and you're hailed almost immediately by the Star Destroyer that hailed you on the way in. Same officer is asking you, Iron J, have you finished your delivery?
Yes, sir.
All right. We need to clear this manifest issue up. Who was your contact that you were making the delivery with again? Did you want to name drop again, Sue?
Sorry, I totally blinked.
You're family.
I'm reminding you of this stuff.
No, I was like, yeah, it was Steve. It was Steve. We did right. Check on Steve.
Can you repeat the question?
Who was the delivery to again?
Oh, the delivery was to the Stubba mansion. They're throwing a party. Yeah,
salted pork.
There's a quiet on the other end of the line for a little bit, and they pause for just a moment, and then they ask, we just need one more thing from you. If you could give us the name of a clearance and a code, we'll let you guys head on out. No problems. All right. So this is the point. This is our final issue right here. It's an objective 4 test. You need to come up with a convincing argument or a code that allows you to leave the planet. So you could do the same roll on coming in. You could do the etiquette roll again, just objective 4 this time, on trying to convince them that you need to head out, and there's a reason you need to go sooner than later.
Well, worth a try, Jet. I don't know. I'm thinking all I can think of as far as a code is the luggage code from Spaceballs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, like it checks. It's an older code, but it checks out.
Checks out.
No. Oh my.
Yeah, I imagine the etiquette roll is going to be the best option, because to come up with a code is not gonna be very easy to do.
Right. You guys also can all write down in your circles Fadlan Swars as a member of the circles. You get a 1 die bonus to connect with him for any particular thing. This might be an opportunity for you to use whoever has the best circles to try and contact him and see if he has a code.
Well, I think Sue, you definitely have the best connections going on here at Sullustan, so we could pursue that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So hitting on my cousin again.
Well, this one's Fallon Swartz.
So this would be our contact on the ground.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
But still, because you have a bigger circle of connections with your cousin and all that, you would have a better chance.
So I would give you life path bonus from having contacted with him, because that's how we got him first. Then you get a bonus for having contacted him before, and then your circles roll. So I think that gives you a circles roll of 3, correct?
3.
Okay, but the objective here is 4.
So it doesn't matter if it's a circles roll or a skills roll.
You either got to come up with the code or you got to talk your way out of it. One of the two.
Is there any other ways to
I have a persona and a fate.
You have a persona
and or a fate I can throw in.
You can use both on the roll if you want to.
Okay.
Because they're doing different things.
Might not be a bad idea. Yeah.
Because there's that, or if we do the etiquette roll, I forget exactly how we calculated that, but I think that was because I drew from.
What's your etiquette score?
So my etiquette is 2, but then I have
and then
haggling.
Right. So we added 1 for that.
And then I think each of you guys helped me out. I think I had a 5. So
did we use? We used disparate cultures wise, didn't we? Was that part of it? We threw in? Yeah.
And then I could also use a fate and a persona.
Okay. That gives you a better shot.
I mean,
I haven't used any of those either yet, so I don't know if that can.
Now I will say I'm gonna give you guys an out in case things go really south, because Kig mentioned it, go ahead and make a navigation roll to know exactly where you're going. So there's no lag in jumping to hyperspace. So you go ahead and do that. That will have that ready. So Mike, if you make that roll for the navigation, and then and you're doing it carefully, so you get a bonus to it, or you're taking your time with it, so you get a bonus to it. So a bonus of 1 die to it.
And how many then?
So whatever your navigation is plus that 1 die.
Navigation's only 2.
Okay, and then so you're gonna have 3, but the objective's only 1 to have done this.
Okay, so roll now.
You're not going anywhere particular. You're just getting out of there.
I got a 5 and a 4.
Okay, so you are successful. So you do have coordinates ready to go in case this goes south.
Okay,
real fast.
Okay.
So how do you guys want to play it? Do you want to go for the code, or do you want to go for the?
Just have Sue pretend to sneeze, and we accidentally hit the hyper. Just the jump. Like whoops! Like I slid the levers forward. Oh, so sorry, officer. No.
I mean, I think that we have a better chance in trying to talk our way out of this one rather than getting the code.
Guessing a code, yeah.
Iron J, are you ready with that code?
Give me a second here. Pulling up my records here. So I guess my role would be is to convince them that we are much better off to just let us go. We're not worth your time to try to get a code from us, and we'll never bother you again.
How these parties are.
Just
I don't have a code from these guys.
Right.
They just told me to deliver the
They're
stuff.
They're Sullustans. You're the well, I guess I'm an alien. I can't really use the you guys don't like aliens line. They're Sullustans. Just they're really bad with records and whatnot, and just
that fits the.
Look, I told him that. I thought we needed a code. He said we were fine,
So that's Kig in the background. I told him.
I told this is exactly what I said was going to happen.
All right,
Nobody
go
listens
ahead and
to
make your roll for it.
Okay,
Objective 4.
I'm going to do a persona and a fate.
Okay.
So I'm rolling
1 extra die.
6 die.
Okay.
And I've got a 5, a 6, a 5, and then 2, 2, 3.
Okay, so re-roll that 6. Here's open.
2.
Oh no! All right, so
blasted.
No, Iron J. I am gonna need that code. So you either need to go back to the planet and retrieve a code, or you need to call someone and figure out what's going on. I cannot let you leave without that.
Well, Sue, I think you might need to try to work some magic on your end.
Don't we have a? I was just thinking of. Just a little sidebar. I'm thinking of like tech jumping in and generating chain codes. You know what I mean? Like you'd think that there'd be someone in this whole process that could have given us some sort of.
Well, that depends on your skills here.
That's true.
You guys are the ones.
So
that's true.
Making the plays.
That's right. I should have thought of that.
I mean, I have some skills in terms of scopes, but that's about calibrating sensors and interpreting data.
Would it's too much of a stretch to have odd jobs also include forging Imperial documents?
Yeah,
I do have I have a transmission skill.
Next time, forging is good. Transmission.
That might work, but I think your best bet here is going to be to make the jump. So you currently do not have a tractor beam holding you back. But it's becoming more and more likely the longer you hang out.
I mean, and I think that we do have a pretty decent pilot skill with the 3 of us. Yeah. So it's still the thing where I've got to roll objective 4.
You've got to get out of here somehow. So piloting past to an open spot where you can hyperspace out. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, interestingly here, Sue is not under any investigation. He's clear.
Oh, yeah, it's true. And he's in his own little ship, too.
Because he's manifest, yeah.
Okay.
So I can...
So he just leaves anytime.
You're free to leave, sir.
Okay, I'm looking at this situation and I'm like, okay. I've got my starfighter, and my guys tried their best, but
how important is the rebellion to you? We have Mon Mothma. If you just abandon us, you're risking a heck of a lot for the rebellion.
Okay. Well, you're now you're challenging me. Now you're challenging my loyalty.
you work for the rebellion, but on your own terms.
On my own terms,
these your
exactly.
terms, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, these guys are just amateurs. They could have swindled their way through some sort of I need some codes.
I'm wondering if there's anything at all that I can bring to the table under these circumstances that might let my Chiss pilot and my Sullustan friend here know that I'm a Jedi, but maybe not the Star Destroyer. But I can't think of anything that would really apply here, though, right? Because it's that mind trick is like if I was at a checkpoint, that's the only thing I had left. Because you could maybe even do that and not have them know what happened. I mean, Luke didn't exactly know what Obi-Wan did,
right?
So yeah, I feel like it's pretty. We're just sort of hosed here, unless this jump works. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I do have a pretty decent skill as a pilot.
Okay.
So I mean, I think my helmsman can help me out, Kig, hopefully, and we can get that and just kind of punch it.
Well, how much could we, if it's all like getting out of here? I mean, how much can we pool here with?
Well, you can help. You can help one,
right?
Then you could fork an etiquette in, because you know how and I'm being liberal with etiquette here, but you know how the Imperials respond to this kind of thing. So that would be something that you could use to help avoid. Like, you can do a flyby on their cockpit's the only word that's coming to mind, but that's not what on the bridge. Yep. You can do a flyby on the bridge and then do one of those same kind of things that Han Solo does, where he's close to the bridge and then jets off from there. So that's another option.
Would does the skill level for my fork in matter here so much, or
no?
Okay.
Yeah, you can only help one. You can help one guy.
So he can help one. How many skills could I fork in then? Just one?
Just you can fork in more, but I think the only one that really makes sense is that one.
Okay, so pilot, fork in, etiquette, navigation wouldn't.
No, because navigation is just about the jumping.
Okay,
and that one's already ready. We've got the jump ready.
Okay. Yeah,
I could call Han Solo. And have the Millennium Falcon just yeah, everyone's just like distracted by the Millennium Falcon.
Okay,
and maybe he just throws on a hitch.
So
it's a little early for him to be involved in the rebellion.
Right. Yeah.
If I use another persona point, I can knock this up to 7 die.
Okay.
So
7 die on an objective 4 is not bad.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Yep. use the force, Kig.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, we failed that one entirely. I got 1-4
because I was just gonna say we've got Qui-Gon cheats on the dice roll in episode 1. Can I somehow reach out of the game and?
Yeah, that was terrible.
All sixes.
All right, so you guys were not meant to get out of here without a complication.
Nope, not at all.
All right, so you begin the process of flying, of trying to do a maneuver closer to the Star Destroyer to pull yourself out, and it just does not go well. As soon as you start maneuvering closer to the Star Destroyer, they hit you with the tractor beam.
Sue, help us.
And that, my friends, is where we're going to close the story.
Oh no!
The Iron J stuck in the tractor beam of a Star Destroyer.
Oh my gosh!
Above the planet of Sullustan.
I'm out.
I'm still hoping that all of this works out eventually, and then I can, one day be one of those glorious Bothans that Mon Mothma's talking about, when it's all said and done. Yeah.
Alrighty, so closing up, we've gone a little bit over time, but not too terribly much, so that's pretty good. Here's the 2 things that I need you guys to think about. There are 2 votes that we're going to take. Who was the most valuable player, the MVP of the game, and who was the workhorse? Like, who was the person that always had the skills that were helping get stuff done. Even if they weren't the person making the rolls, they were the one like, really keeping things moving along because they had the right stuff at the right time. So let's do the workhorse first. Who do you guys think was the workhorse for?
That was the second one that you just mentioned, right?
Right. The one that had the skills that was really pushing things along.
My vote would be Sue. I think he had the best connections.
I think so too. Yeah.
Okay.
All of that for Sullustan.
Yeah, I think being on Sullustan, it was kind of his show for the workhorse. So yeah, okay. Yeah. So Sue gets a persona point back from this. So that's that one. And then for the MVP, who was the clutch player? Can't vote for yourself, but see if there's a consensus.
I like that. That one feels weird because we didn't succeed at the end. So like,
you didn't, but who pushed the story along in a really?
I would say Father did. I think you.
I
you were
agree.
thinking, at least thinking of the most creative ways. To get. I mean, if I can't vote for myself, but I mean, for my part, I kind of got lucky with my roles and being from Sullustan. Yeah,
that definitely
gave me an advantage. So you had a much harder job than I did.
Yeah. So I would agree. I think that Jet was definitely the shining MVP character from this one. Even if it didn't end up succeeding in the end, it was good. So persona point for Jet as well. Who felt like they played towards or against their beliefs really strongly? Anybody?
The one that comes to my mind was when I was pushing Kig.
Well, I'm just laughing because I don't see my character as one who, if he didn't absolutely have to, it would be like, oh great, another distraction. Okay, fine. Let's see what we got here. So,
all right. So yeah, so fate point for Kig.
Okay.
In that, so that's how those fate points come up.
So you just add that on, kind of. Okay.
Yep. And then another persona point to Sue for achieving the mission of achieving the goal of getting Anakin's ship off. Yep. Yeah. You have to create a new belief now, so that's going to push your character along to something else. So
nice.
That's how that works.
Cool.
There. All right. Anybody want to award another big, like, I thought this moment was really great for someone else? Just point at another player and say, hey, this was really cool. It's all right. You don't have to.
I don't know.
I would say our game master did phenomenal, though.
This was well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. I will award my one of my characters a persona point. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I had a blast. I thought this was a lot of fun. And win or lose, I think it was a great story. It's really interesting because it does leave us on a cliffhanger. Yep. So if we do get to play again, this is where we will start off. Yeah. And I want to apologize to anybody who's like a big Burning Wheel fanatic. I was watering down some stuff and simplifying some things, and I wanted to give you guys the most chance to use some of the different mechanics. So there were some areas where I was playing the game incorrectly, but it was fun. I think it came out working really well for you guys. And I enjoyed this. This was phenomenal. I love planning it. We did do a lot of work to get the characters done. However, we don't have to do that work again for the next time of playing.
Thank God.
You got those guys ready to go. And next time we'll just have them ready. I would encourage you, if there was anything that you felt like, okay, I see my character might have benefited from having these skills or this skill set or something like that, and you want to take some of the ranks away from your skills and move them over into other skills, I'll let you rewrite them a little bit at this point. Cool. And then we'll just say that was, this was beginner's experience. You were learning how things worked, and so that's why the characters weren't thinking about it as they were going through this. But you guys did phenomenal. I had a blast.
No, this was really fun. Yeah. You did, again, Thomas. You did a great job.
Absolutely.
Being game master and you made it. Like you mentioned, it like as you got into the game, everything became more understandable, more clear, and easier.
It flowed. It made sense. Like, and the imagery is neat too. Just to kind of see it playing out in your head. Yeah,
and even the creative process. Of like, how would you approach the situation? At the very beginning, it was like, Thomas, just kind of tell us what we need to do.
Tell us what to do. Yeah.
But then
as it goes on more, as you guys get more comfortable with it, I think the biggest hazard with these is that people are used to role-playing games on the computer, and there's only so many options that you can do. You can only go so many directions. Whereas with this game, sky's the limit. Whatever you want, it's a completely open book, and you're writing the story yourself. And my favorite part about this is that it does feel really cinematic, because it felt like like I could see an episode of Rebels playing out.
Yes,
just like this, exactly like this, and it ends on a cliffhanger, and we have an episode 2 coming out sometime for it as well. So awesome. Well, I appreciate that, guys. Any other final thoughts from you about it? Good experience. We'll do it
totally.
again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, I'd love to continue the story. That's too big of a cliffhanger.
Yeah. We ended. Yeah. So no fanfare on this one. We gotta make sure that we finish out and see what happens next time. So that's really good. Awesome. So that's going to be it from us. This has been Secrets of Star Wars from StarQuest, and we have created now our own set of characters and story. I have to say, I'm really proud of you guys for creating an all-alien team. I would like to see more all-alien teams in Star Wars. That's definitely high on my list. Thank you for listening. If you would like to leave a comment or ask any questions, we're always around at SQPN on Twitter, or you can check us out on Facebook. If you want to hear the creation process of our characters, that is in last episode of Secrets of Star Wars, which is episode 112. So if you wanted to go back and listen to just one, we only ended up working with Father to create his character, and it wasn't the entire process, but it was enough of it to give you a good sense of what's going on. And if you're interested, there is a moderately open source document that talks about the Star Wars side of the Burning Wheel. And if you like the RPG, I definitely recommend the Burning Wheel. It's a fun RPG. I love playing it. It's based in a fantasy setting, but there are some great guys that have gone through and translated it into a sci-fi setting very well. So thanks again, Andrew Hermiz, for joining me for the Secrets of Star Wars.
Su Staba out.
All right. Father Andrew Kinstetter, thank you for joining me.
This was a blast. Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah, no problem. And Mike Creavey, thank you for joining me for the Secrets of Star Wars.
Hey, my pleasure.
Awesome. This has been Thomas Sanjurjo. I appreciate you all listening.